Welcome to History Loves Company.
In a lifetime.
I'm Chris Hubel. Where am I? Hubel. Chris. Where am I? Welcome to History Loves Company. Where am I? Chris Hubel.
Become once in a lifetime.
Welcome to History Loves Company. Hey guys, it's Chris with History Loves Company, and today I wanted to chat with you guys about mortgage rates and give you a market update. But I'm a real estate agent, not a mortgage professional, so I should probably stick to my own lane and save the mortgage talk for the mortgage guy. So that's why I've brought you guys this guy right here.
Hey guys, David Wechsler, the mortgage consultant with Union Home Mortgage.
So, David, mortgage rates. I've heard that you're the guy to go to when talking mortgage rates. Is that so?
Yeah, that is what I am legally licensed to do by the state and the federal government.
That's incredible. So I'm beyond blessed to have such a humble, wonderful mortgage lender in the room today to discuss rates with us. So what is there to discuss about rates today? I mean, where are they at? Where do they stand?
All right, so rates vary depending upon the individual. So let's just get that out of the ballpark. There's
not a flat rate that everybody gets thrown into and like everybody pays this percentage?
No, if there was, then there would be probably one lending institution out there and it would just be called Best Bank or whatever the heck they want to call themselves. But
I've heard of those guys.
yeah, you don't want to work with them. Anyways, in reality, mortgage rates are still near historic lows. They are going up though. It's all over the news. Rates are going. The Fed said rates are going up. So we need to be cognitive of that fact. But in reality, they're in the mid to low fours for most individuals.
Yeah, and I mean, what you just said is the exact reason that I brought you on this show. You know, we like to talk about history here, and you just said mortgage rates are still at or near historic lows. Historic! So mortgage rates, they have some history behind those as well, and the history with mortgage rates is that they're generally pretty high, I hear.
Yeah, in reality, the average mortgage rate over the lifespan of rates, I would say, is near or around 8%. So
Woo!
we're at half of that.
That's pretty freaking high. You know, like when I bought my house 4 or 5 years ago or so, I got a 4.25, and I thought I was the bee's knees back then. You were able to lock that in for me, actually, and
Pretty sure I did do that loan for you, Chris.
yeah, and this past year, I think you even wrapped up another one for me and got that interest rate down quite a bit for me.
Yeah, we did, but
Yeah.
that's where the rates were then. Now, today, they're where they are today. What's happened in the past is not always indicative of what's in the future.
Yeah, but I mean, with that being said, we're still at or near the bottom. I mean, not at the bottom, but we're still near the bottom,
Yes.
historically speaking. So with that being said, what about affordability? I mean, how do we discuss home affordability and how much home you can afford? I mean, if I give you all of my information and you pre-approve me for $450,000, does that mean I should go out and spend $450,000 on a home?
I would strongly advise you not to, and I would strongly advise anybody watching this video to focus on their overall monthly payment as opposed to the $450,000 Chris just said.
I'm glad he said that because I can't afford a $450,000 house. I mean, on paper maybe, but like, yeah, I don't want to swing that mortgage payment, and no one wants to be house broke.
No, that's one thing I ask all of my clients. It's very important to me to make sure nobody ever feels houseborn at the end of the day. So I ask a prospective buyer, a person listening to this video, watching this video, what do you want your monthly payment to be? And zero is not an option. And then I follow up with what is the most you would ever want your payment to be, so that we kind of figure out the mortgage process doesn't take into account if you like to go out to eat, if you like to go shopping, if you like to collect Pokemon cards or buy expensive toys. So in reality, I'm not making their monthly payment. You're not making the monthly payment. You prospective buyers need to know what you want your payment to be around, and we work backwards.
So, I mean, in order for them to figure that out, they can just jump on like Zillow and use the mortgage calculator that's on there, right?
Oh no, I would probably steer away.
Steer clear.
Steer clear.
It's all right. I got you.
Yes.
I'm here for the little hiccups and the bobbles.
Yes.
So steer clear of Zillow for mortgage calculator. Steer clear of Zillow for selling your home to them because they're probably going to screw you. Maybe we just steer clear of Zillow altogether, I guess. But I mean, that does bring something up. What is Zillow missing when it comes to a mortgage calculator? I think one of the things they're missing is the accuracy of maybe your homeowner's insurance, your property taxes, or possibly even mortgage insurance. What the heck is mortgage insurance?
All right, so you mentioned a few big things here that any mortgage calculating website typically will not be able to calculate for you. One of the big things is what's known as an escrow account. It takes into account your taxes and insurance for the future. However, we're working with numbers based upon the past. When you go put in the current property taxes, you aren't really looking at what the taxes could be in the future. That's one thing that only truly a licensed mortgage professional would calculate for you, so that you know what your payment's going to be coming due that next year. We also take into account the homeowner's insurance that you're going to be getting on the home, and if there's any home association dues. So all of those factors go into that total monthly payment, hence that escrow account that you said. Also included in that mortgage payment is mortgage insurance, also known as PMI. This is a portion of your payment that doesn't go to taxes, doesn't go to insurance, does not go towards any of your escrows or principal and interest. It is foreclosure insurance for banks. This can only be calculated by a lending institution, and it looks at different risk factors: borrower's credit score, debt to income ratio, loan amount. All of those things add up to come up with your mortgage insurance. Could be as low as $10 a month, as high as $500 a month, depending on the home and the criteria of the client.
Wow, well, that's good to know. I think those are probably pretty important things when determining how much home we could afford. So, I mean, I could see why maybe we don't want to trust the mortgage calculator on that fancy website called Zillow.com, or pretty much anything you find on Zillow.com. But neither here nor there. So one of the things you mentioned in that last little bit there was your credit score. Mm-hmm. Now, if I'm shopping for a home in 2022, I probably need like a 715 for a credit score or higher, right?
I don't even know what you're talking about. To get a mortgage in 2022, the bottom credit score you need is a 600.
What?
So the 715 or the 720, 740, all those numbers, yeah, they're great to have, but it's not going to restrict you from buying a house.
That's great news, because, I mean, for a long time I held off on buying a home because I thought my credit was too weak, and you're telling me that you can buy a home with as little as a 600 credit score. It's pretty incredible. I mean, there's quite a few people out there in the world who have a 600 or higher credit score, right? Or I'd like to think so, at least.
Yeah, definitely. I would strongly believe that as well, and I'm pretty sure the lending professional that assisted you get your house when you thought your credit score was too low might have advised you and taught you something you didn't know.
Yeah, I mean, that's a good thing to jump into here. I mean, back in the day, like 5 years ago when I bought my house, my credit was, we'll say, less than stellar. And when I first reached out to a mortgage professional, or a mortgage consultant in this case, this guy right here, this is who I reached out to, guys.
I did his mortgage.
He was able to direct me to a place where, I was able to get approved for a loan, and to get approved a second time for a loan at a much better rate, because I was able to improve how my credit scenario looked to a mortgage professional over those couple of years. And I did so by taking advice that this guy right here gave me. And that's something that, like, a lot of potential buyers, I mean, you give them this advice and you never hear from them again, correct?
Yeah, I mean, typically maybe 10% of the people that I give at least just advice to, I am not a credit expert in any sense of the way, but when you've been doing something for 10 years, you kind of learn some tips and tricks along the way, such as keeping your balances low, making your payments on time, and just analyzing and finding errors on that credit report that can assist you buy a house. It's not about buying a house today when they talk to us. It's about getting homeownership eventually.
Yeah, and I mean, that's one of the huge reasons that I continue to, refer my clients to you, is that you look at them as more than just a number. I mean, you look at them as an actual person, and whether or not they're qualified to buy a home today, tomorrow, or even in 5 years, I mean, you still take the time out of your day to make sure that you do everything in your power to get them into a place where they can potentially buy a home in the very near future. And with that being said, it kind of leads us right into another common misconception that a lot of people have. So, if I'm buying a house, I need that 20% down, right? I mean, that's something that's required in any mortgage in 2022, right?
I don't know where you heard that either, Chris, but you can buy a house as little as 1% down. On average, there's 3% down programs.
That's pretty much free, David. You mean to tell me you can buy a home with as little as 1% down?
Yeah, if you have the right criteria, if you are the first-time home buyer fitting the right criteria for that program, there are buying options available for you and or any prospective buyers out there with as little as 1% down. We can talk, we can figure out a plan. If it's not that program, then maybe we put a plan together to save up the money to get on the right path.
That's incredible. So I guess last thing I wanted to really talk to you about was home affordability when it comes to mortgage rates and prices. So obviously prices are inflated right now. They're the highest that they've ever been, but mortgage rates are at or near the lowest that they've ever been. So does it make sense for a potential buyer to purchase a home right now, or should they be waiting for prices to fall a little bit before purchasing?
That's a really good question. It depends. Chris, you have a crystal ball and can predict when the market is going to correct or crash or whatever it is that other professionals and analysts are saying, then sure, then hold off and time this thing perfectly when the prices are at the lowest and rates are at the lowest and you found a unicorn. But I've never seen a unicorn in the financial field or in real life either. So in reality, as rates go up and housing prices go up, it's better to buy when rates are low always. It always just depends on when you're planning on selling.
Yeah, and I mean, from what I see, guys, there's no crash that's inevitable that's going to happen in the very near future. I mean, the signs just aren't really there. We still have a crazy low supply and a crazy high demand, and I think as long as those two things are happening, we're probably not going to see a crazy crash. Maybe we'll see a slow correction over the next couple of years, something like that. But in that sort of a case, I think what you were saying as far as like rates being low, probably better to buy with that low rate than it is to save, say $5,000 off of a $200,000 house, but you're buying at a rate that's 1.5% higher. It's going to be cheaper monthly payment on that lower rate with the higher price tag, correct?
1,000%. It's cheaper money buying at a lower rate. $5,000 in this scenario that you just told me is financed over 30 years. That $5,000 is less than $25 a month.
Holy crap.
When you put that into perspective. So letting $5,000 hold you off from buying a house today is, I guess, not the greatest idea.
But I mean, in the meantime, while they're, waiting for the market to come down, they get the opportunity to pay their landlord's mortgage that entire time and just be a super generous person for years while they wait for the market to take a dive, right? I mean, and it's got to be worth something. Kindness, right?
Yeah, kindness to a stranger.
Yeah.
So if you believe in giving strangers kindness in form of you giving them money every month, then that makes sense. But back to one point that we said, your $5,000 divided out by your 30-year terms, roughly around $25 a month or less, 0.1% in interest rate could be anywhere from $8 to $25 a month. So if that interest rate just goes up 1/8, you might be already balancing out.
So what did we learn today, guys? We learned that we should probably stay in our own lane. So if you guys have mortgage-related questions, I've got a guy for that right over here.
That's me. And if you have real estate-related questions, I've got a guy for that right over here.
I'd love to answer them. And remember, guys, every home is a story. Let's discover yours.
Once in a lifetime.
Welcome to History Loves Company.